So we designed this program that people can feel free and speak the local dialect that they can. So sorry if you cannot understand us. Nana Kwame, very good evening to your customers. Enumerate Taptap Send Ekoswada customers I say for their loyalty. Taptap Send we are more than 5 years, and for a brand like this to stay over the years, because of the people on this show and their family members who are not on this show. And entity will be say, oh show we so na say why you are say ubeko UK UK. This one will be very vital for the person. Whilst lawyer wisdom Ebano Omuma metie, and then yentina obi man so in a secured way. And by way of update from Taptap Send, last week I spoke about instant refund, which comes into your wallet. And I want to rehash on that point. Yes, baby, otumfo ebono ne honum na eda. If you send money and it fails, there are multiple reasons why transaction fails. Sometimes the wallet of the recipient is full. Sometimes the network from our partner side is down. But when this happens, usually your bank places a hold on it. When you make transfer, we only take the money when we deliver it. We send a delivery note and then the bank releases the funds to us. So by way of education, let this sink in. I have been here getting calls where people call, say, transfer now console tap for Misika. Yes, a banking system. Yes, you came to tap. Ntiskana kwa definitely a tap, but it's just a temporal hold from your bank. So when after the regulation of your bank, sometimes it's 2 to 3 days, sometimes it gets even up to 5 days. But when the time elapses, you get your money back into your account. But we've seen that it is very difficult for people to wait for the 2 to 3 days, sometimes the 5 days. So Taptap Send listened to our customers, and we decided to find an instant refund which goes into your wallet. So the instant refund is for just people who have activated their wallet. Someone will ask, what is this wallet that they are talking about? The wallet feature has been released for customers in the UK and in the European zone. Very soon, USA, you get your wallet because of this instant refund and also the wallet-to-wallet feature that we want to bring on board. Instant refund. So just create a wallet on your phone. Create a wallet on your phone and you will be okay. You can use the instant refund. When you send a transaction and it fails, immediately you get a notification. Do you want an instant refund or you can wait? So the choice is yours. If you want to wait 5 days for it to come back to your bank, that will be your choice. But if you want to get the funds immediately in order for you to send it again, then you choose the instant refund. Nana Kwame, I'll pause here. I know this is too much of information, but I know your questions will bring out or tease out the things that people want to know.
Right. So on this note, I will try to pick 2 questions from the audience. If anybody have a question for Kofi, me a question about. I'm picking only 2 people, and straight up, I will introduce Lawyer Wisdom for him to take over tonight. Mama Liz, Mama Liz, but you for a question, bro.
Pacho, said there was your canny. So Jesus, you can would you free wallet in a man's son and what me refund it through the back to the wallet. Or is there any pakrono or 2 free in the bank account to cry no pay instant refund that you can refund it back to the wallet? That's my question.
Thank you very much, Madam Les. So, initially when we had the wallet, when your transactions failed, it was coming back to your wallet. Now, with the instant refund to your wallet, regardless whether you use your wallet or use your bank card, you can receive your funds back into your wallet. So it's not just a transaction that was effected from a wallet as a payment method, but now any other payment method that you use, you can get instant refund, but the funds will come to your wallet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice one. Kofi, Hans will be Busase specific on the wallet, whether Ghana City wallet, pound, or the local currency wallet.
Okay, so by way of announcement, we've been hammering on this since December. Said we don't have the Ghana CD wallet anymore. We are in talks with authorities, regulators, the Bank of Ghana, because they said we cannot hold the national currency, that is the CD, in another jurisdiction. To them, we don't have the power to do that. So we are still in talks. Lawyers are talking to them because we also have our basis, but definitely you cannot fight with your regulator. So for now, the Ghana CD wallet is on hold. What I am talking about is the Euro wallet and the Pound wallet.
Can you also give us timelines on the US? When are they going to have their wallets on the app in the US?
Usually, I prefer to give a quarterly time stamp. So by end of Q1, that is by end of March. I know it's coming earlier than that, but let's put it for end of the first quarter. That is end of March.
Yo, Kofi Yanjo last words and sana mejao na yede lawyer wisdom ede aba. If you have a CD in your wallet, how do you get it? Obinsu ede no quickly pick that one. Na fi lawyer wisdom.
Okay, so if you have CDs in your wallet, you can still send it out. But please, the problem that we've seen on this show is most people, if they have 500 CDs, they try to type 500 pounds, which is not an equivalent of 500 CDs. So if you have 500 CDs or any amount that you have in your CD wallet, please go to the CD side of the app and type that amount in there. Just click on next. Just as you are making a transaction, when you get to payment method, choose wallet, and you can still send from the balance that you have. The only problem that people have is they have 500 CDs, but they want to type it in the pound side. 500 pound or 500 euro is not equivalent to 500 CDs. So make sure you type the right figure in the CD side. And when you get to payment method, you choose your wallet as your payment method.
Yo, Kofi, Mami Faunsia, they do focus section now. You sign up to us, so I pick more questions on Taptap Send specifically. But Brady and Lawyer Wisdom and Medino Chief for Kofi. Today you're going to be my co-host to host Lawyer Wisdom. Lawyer Wisdom, Memoir Joe, Emma Kwab, and then you may edu Bajuma.
Nana, Mejo, so Miss Memoir Joe, Emma Akwaba, what is saying?
Lawyer, me who ye na sidi me who wama I don't know. I'm patch when your appointment be ana. Mr. The way appointment na kono. So when you be a me enti na me your PY, Mr. Wa.
Hey, me and you. If you spells now, my channel until now because of my appointment thing.
For people who want to be your aide, you want to be your aide.
Lawyer, a special aid in that case, not just an aid, a special aid.
I hear you. You're more than welcome.
Yeah, and you ready? Your friend about Jumadi so we know, say, I mean, day in, day out, when it comes to immigration rules, changes, bar, updates, bar. I mean, you see a film and course when it comes to UK immigration, we want to talk to you for you to update us on the UK immigration. Then we will open up for people to ask questions on anything to do with UK visa and immigration issues.
Me that's it. Nana, me that's it. Me mobile fish up. Is it the first time or the second time I share?
But on this show, this is the first time.
On this show,
especially with me and Kofi Frimpong on the same show. This is the first time.
Me mobile fish up. Me just say, Obia here. And then you need a lot of time and take me born to pop. Then not quite no. Me just say you move be I take news and then I'm.
And you know, lawyer, me say, well, just for clarity's sake, and per se I for NTS say lawyer ever a short presentation, then you you be floor no now you're taking all your questions and it's in batch. So what question be get ready and lawyer will be more than happy to answer all your questions. Lawyer, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Right. So because when it comes to immigration, it keeps changing. It keeps changing every day, every other week, every month, every other month, every quarter. It keeps changing. That is the United Kingdom for you. This year, a few changes have already come. About the changes and I news more. But me present me boss briefly, and then we will let you ask the questions. Number one, the opposition leader Kemi Badenoff, why your proposals to the government say obi eba krum ha ana sese ayeka say obi eba krum ha oba with 5 years leave. In other words, wa worry and waba oni uire and oni kuno and ebetna the rule as it stands right now is that we went Nakruma for 5 years. And first of previously not 2 years, and I'm going to call 5 years. 5 years, and they say, give them all 3 months. We did back room. After the 3 months, now during the 3 months, you get your 2.5 years our post office. After the 2.5 years, 1 year, another 2.5 years, now a total of 5 years. And that application is made from Ghana. It is made under Appendix FM Section EC-P. That is as a partner. We now your first 2.5 years, you make the application under Appendix FM Section LTR, that section, leave to remain as a partner, LTRP, that is as a partner. So the first one is Appendix FM section EC-P. It is Appendix FM section LTRP for 2.5 years. After that, you get 5 years. 5 years, you get your indefinite. After indefinite, you apply for either British citizenship immediately, or you wait for 1 year before you apply for your British citizenship. We Enna Kemi Badenoff, opposition leader, proposal say, from 5 years and 10 years. And the only proposal said we should take it from 5 years to 10 years. And as a unya indefinite no after 10 years and poor 1 year as a trying no acquire British citizenship no only proposal say pass 1 year ni enko 5 years and in total over 15 years and sana what's British citizenship in this country. That is her proposal. It hasn't come into effect, but I say almost 30 can is our opposition the ruling government super say or ye BNT na omoji etum na 5 years na 10 years then 1 year I got 5 years. Now, instead of 5 years or 6 years to get citizenship, it will end up being 15 years before you get your citizenship, if that proposal is accepted. Now, it means that you will keep paying every time until you get your indefinite. You keep paying for the limited leave until you get your indefinite, and then you have to wait until you get your citizenship. So that is a proposal, very, very draconian. It hasn't been accepted yet, but I will not be surprised if very soon the government accepts it or decides to work with it, just to prove or to show that it's been tough on immigration. That is where we stand right now. Then another update, very important update, and it's on the 10th of this month. Today is the 20th. That is 10 days ago. 10 days ago, there has been a change in the good character requirement towards or for naturalization or nationality in this country. Now, so Obi Abba with maybe a visit visa. After visit visa, they get a 2.5 years, either on the 10-year route or on the 5-year route. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 4 times, 10 years, then you go for your indefinite leave to remain. After that, you can again go for your citizenship, or you wait, you go for after 1 year to make it 11 years to go for your citizenship. Now, there are other factors which influence whether a person should be granted citizenship or not. One is you have to show you have met the residential requirement. You are supposed to be in the UK for 5 years, and that 5 years, you shouldn't be out of the UK for more than 90 days in any particular year. So within that 5 years, you should be in the UK or you shouldn't be out for more than 450 days. So 9 90 times 5, 450. You should not be out of the UK for more than 450 days in that 5 years. And in the last year before your application, you should not certainly be out for more than 90 days. Now, if you meet this residential requirement, there are other requirements you have to meet. Example, the life in the UK test. As I said, omitted the life in the UK test. And so, unless you are 65 years and above, or below 18 years, then you don't have to write the life in the UK test. So that is another requirement to be a British citizen. The first one is residential requirement. The second one is the life in the UK requirement. The other one here, the English language requirement. You need to meet the English language requirement at level B1, or just a friend. Yeah, or a degree, and a degree is equivalent to a degree in the UK, which has been certified by ECTIS, ECCTIS. ECTIS will confirm that the degree is equivalent to a degree in the UK. In that case, you don't have to write the English language test. As for the life in the UK, you write it, whether you went to school, whatever you went to school, as long as you're not a British citizen, or you were not born here through to a certain point, you have to do the life in the UK test. You can be an English professor, you have to do the life in the UK test. It doesn't matter who one is, you have to do that. It is the English that if you have a first degree, you don't have to write it if ECTIS confirms that it is equivalent to a degree in the UK. Another requirement, a good character requirement. So we talk about residential requirement, the English language requirement, the life in the UK requirement, and the good character requirement. Now, the good character requirement, good character is not defined by the law, but there is a guidance note on what constitutes good character. Good character is not defined, but there is a guidance note when idea your friend a good character, or what constitutes good character. I'll just mention a few. One, if you have criminal conviction, if you have a criminal conviction of a certain threshold, you may never become a British citizen. If you have been convicted 10 years and above, you will never ever become a British citizen. If you have some custodial sentences that can affect the number of years you have to wait to become a British citizen. If you have, you've caused offenses which cause serious harm, you may never become a British citizen. If you have fixed penalty, driving offenses, driving without insurance, and all those things can all constitute your character. So we are talking about good character. You want to be a British citizen. Do you have a good character? And these are the things they use to determine whether you have a good character or not. You are consistently offending. You are consistently getting fines. You never obey the rules. You just drive through red lights, speeding, driving all the time. You're getting points on your license. If it is continuous, if it is repetitive, if it's become part of your life, that is your character, you won't become a British citizen. So these are some of the things. And of course, I've talked about compensation orders, cautions, warnings, reprimands, community sentences, detention, training orders, confiscation, and forfeiture orders. All these things is a wide range of niyama which constitutes who is a person of good character. So we have to be very careful the things we do, because anything can be factored into what is part of a good character. Now, your own children, your children's character, your children's behavior, if your children are so stubborn, they're always problem in the neighborhood, your children's behavior can even affect your eligibility for British citizenship, because you don't seem to be a person who has control over your household, and therefore that can affect your eligibility for British citizenship as well. So good character is very wide. And then we can talk about possibly you owe the NHS, they'll be written to you, they give you invoice, you disregard, you don't pay, etc., etc. All these ones can also constitute your good character. Or you have immigration fine. You've been to court, you've been fined, you have to pay because you lost your case at maybe the High Court. They want you to pay a fee, you don't pay. Not once, not twice, it can constitute a good character or a bad character in that case. Now, involvement in gangs. Your children are in gangs, and that can also affect you, the parent, because you don't seem to have a hold on your family. That constitutes, it can be a bad character on your case. Association with criminals. If you are associated with criminals, etc., etc., that can also constitute bad character. In other words, you are not a person of good character. Then, of course, extremism. Terrorist associations, etc., that can all be part of a good character. But the one I want to talk about this evening is what we call, or what concerns most of us, is what we call illegal entry and overstaying. Illegal entry and overstaying. Now, a lot of people came in with visa. They came in with a visit visa, or as a student, or as a charity worker, or as a care worker, and they overstayed their visa because they were not able to continue on the route on which they came. They overstayed. Now, the good character requirement says if you overstay your visa, that can be used to decide your application. It says, overstaying, where you are not disregarding immigration breaches relating to lawful residence. It says, if a person has previously overstayed their permission to enter or stay in the UK, it will normally be appropriate to refuse the application for citizenship unless it is the only adverse factor weighing against the person's good character. So if you meet all the other factors, but you overstayed, they can decide to say, okay, all right, you've been here for so long, you overstayed, but if you look at life in the UK, you've met it. If we look at English language, you've satisfied it. If we look at the life in the UK, you've got it. If we look at other factors you've met also, all right, for you, let's give you a waive. You have overstayed, but let's forgive you and go and sin no more. You can be disregarded. But there is an introduction from the 10th of this month, 10 days ago. An introduction has been brought into page 50 and page 51. But you can read from page 49, page 50, page 51 of the Good Character Requirement Guidance Note. It says Good Character Requirement Guidance Note. I can give you the citation, then anybody can read it. I would encourage everybody to read it because it is very important. It says Nationality Good Character Requirement. The version is version 6, and it was last published on the 11th of February 2025. That is the latest version. Version 6, last published on the 11th of February 2025. So it was published just 9 days ago. 11th of February 2025. That is when it was published. And it says this. Let's pay attention to this. It says, any person applying for citizenship from the 10th of February 2025 who previously entered the United Kingdom illegally will normally be refused regardless of how long they've lived in the UK. It means if you entered illegally, now there is a difference between illegal entry and overstaying. Overstaying means when your visa, you got a visa and you came in and your visa expired and you continue to live here. That is overstay. You have overstayed your leave to be in the UK. They are saying they may disregard that. But if you entered illegally, illegally means you don't have a point of entry. Maybe you went through Holland, you took a Schengen visa, went to Holland, and when you went to Holland, your uncle who was coming to London said, oh, come, let's go. So you sat in the car and he drove you to London. And when you came to London, you never went back. You have no entry to the UK. The Home Office is saying, if you make your application from the 10th of February 2025, you will never get your British citizenship. You will get your indefinite, but you will not get your British citizenship. You have to remain on the indefinite until thy kingdom come or until the laws change, maybe down the line. So that is what it says. If you entered in the UK illegally and you make an application from the 10th of February 2025, no matter how long you have lived in this country, the Home Office says you will never get your British citizenship. We have to pay attention to this. And again, I've given an example of who came illegally. Maybe some people came with the small boats. You know, the people who are coming with the small boats, it's not a huge problem. They are all entering illegally. It means that they will never get British citizenship. They may end up getting indefinite, but they will not get British citizenship. Or maybe you came through France, you were able to come by train or coach, or somehow you entered. There is no evidence that you entered the UK legally. That person or such a person, based on the changes they have made in the good character requirement guidance note, you would never become a British citizen. But they're also saying that if you made your application before the 10th of February, then they would weigh, they will check it, they will vary, they will review it to see if they should give you the British citizenship or not. If they check it and decide to give it to you, then you will have your British citizenship. But if they check it and decide not to, no matter how long you live in this country, you can be here for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, you would never become a British citizen. So let's bear that in mind. Illegal entry is a serious, serious issue. If you know anybody, of course, who entered illegally, that is a problem for them now. Now, let me ask this question, or somebody asked me this question. What if I came in the name, say, Yefremi Kojo, and when I got here, I see some ding, Mrs. Sami Ding, let's say Mensa. Am I able to get my citizenship eventually? The question here is, did you enter with the name Kojo legally? If it is yes, and the Home Office can check on their system to see that this person entered legally, then you are not part of this illegal entrance. You entered legally. You only overstayed. You are not part of the people who entered illegally. So let's bear that in mind. The law has changed, and it will keep changing. It will keep changing. So my advice is, if you have an application to make and you are eligible for it, don't waste time. Apply before the rules change, because the rules will keep changing. The Home Office has a duty, the government has a duty to control immigration. Can you just imagine if they let the doors open, or if they let all the borders down? Can you just imagine how people will flock into the country? The housing will be an issue, the NHS will be overwhelmed, the schools will be overwhelmed, and all sort of things. And that is why the government tries to control immigration. So please bear in mind, if you're eligible to apply, please apply so that any new changes do not affect you. Then there is something also I want to mention here before I take any questions that may come up. The Home Office have released data that since July 2024, they have returned. Can you guess how many people they have returned to their home country? 18,927 people have been taken back to their country. 18,987 people have been returned to their country. Almost 19,000 people from July 2024 up to today. The Home Office is saying, this is the note it added, to those wanting to come here illegally, you are wasting your money and you will be returned swiftly. To those wanting to come here illegally, they're not talking about legally, they say illegally. I will not encourage, advise, admonish anybody to come to this country illegally, because when you come illegally, your whole life is constrained. There's not much you can do. You can't rent, you can't use the NHS, you can't drive, you can't have a bank account. Your life is, you are more or less like in an open prison. So if you have a brother, a sister, an uncle, an auntie who wants to come to this country, they should come legally, not illegally. Because when you come illegally, you're just putting yourself in a very difficult situation. So the Home Office says they've returned 18,987 people since July 2024, and they've added that those who want to come here illegally, you are wasting your money and you'll be swiftly returned. So that is also another information from the Home Office. And my advice is come to the UK, but come legally. Don't come illegally, because you would be in a very difficult position if you enter here illegally. So that is what it is. Now, another factor that is affecting people is people who are absconders. You have overstayed, the Home Office encountered you, they've asked you to come to be reporting. Come and report, come and be reporting at the police station, and then you run away. You escape. You are called an absconder. If you are abscond, the Home Office can also use that to refuse your British citizenship application. So it's a wide range of factors that constitute good character requirement. My advice is, if you can, please fall in line, do the right things, follow the lane. When it is time, you get your British citizenship. Otherwise, you will be here for a very long time and you would never be able to get your British citizenship. I will leave it at here, right here, and then take some questions. The first question I will take is, it says, are there any changes on the spousal or partner visa route? No, nothing has changed apart from the 18,600, which has now changed to the 29,000 pounds. The rules still remain as they are. The eligibility requirement, the suitability requirements, all those ones remain, but the financial requirement has changed from 18,600 to 29,000 pounds a year before tax. I will take the first person, Mr. Kwabena Asante. If you are listening, can you please? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, lawyer. Please, I have two questions, basically wrapped in one. The first one is, I want to basically know the options that are available, because I'm currently based in Europe, Italy to be precise, and I've completed my master's degree in the field of computer science and technology, and I'm basically working, but I want to transition to the UK. So I want to know like the options I have. And secondly, if maybe I've actually started working, I've started a pension scheme. Is there a policy?
There's a noise in the background. Can you please mute it for me, please? Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Asante, please go on for me.
Yeah, I was saying that, like, if I had probably started an employee benefit or like a pension scheme, is there a possibility to transfer from Europe to the UK since they've exited, like with the Brexit and all that? Is there any alternative, that I can move, like all these kind of things? So these are my two questions.
Thank you very much. For the benefit side, I am not conversant with that, so I can't advise on that. However, I think if you liaise with the HMRC in this country, you email them, they will be able to advise you on that. I'm not able to give you any serious answer on that. But when it comes to you being in the you've done is it IT skills or something like that, the computer science or so, and you qualify. Yes, if you can, please go online and research these IT companies in the UK who may need your skill, and if they have a sponsorship license, they will sponsor you to come to the UK and work for 5 years. After 5 years, you get your indefinite. 1 year after that, you get your British citizenship. So the duty will be on you to intentionally go looking for IT companies that have sponsorship licenses. If they don't have a sponsorship license, that will not help you. Get one that has a sponsorship license, and I'm sure they'll be able to assist you. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Joanna's iPhone, please.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much. And can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. So my question is, so I'm currently working I'm on the skilled worker visa, and I'll be applying for the INR in a year time, or let's say 2 years time.
Okay.
Does the hours I work affect the INR as well?
Well, I mean, if you are here as a skilled worker, it is required that you do a certain number of hours with your employer. So if certainly, or if, as a matter of fact, you are not doing that number of hours, when you are applying for your indefinite leave to remain, the Home Office would ask for some information, maybe 6 months pay slips or 1 year pay slips. You never know. 6 months bank statement or 12 months bank statement, a letter from the employer to confirm that you have complied with the rules and the regulations or in accordance with your terms and conditions of your employment. If your employer can confirm that you have complied with the requirements, then you should not have a problem. But if you did less hours and the employer will not give you a letter to confirm that, or you don't have the pay slips and the bank statement to confirm that, then that can be a problem when it comes to applying for your indefinite leave to remain. However, having said that, the Home Office is looking, I think, more generously at people on this skilled worker thing now. Previously, they just cancel it and ask you to leave the country. Now, they will tell you your employer's license has been revoked, yours is affected, your COS is affected, but you have to remain in the country until you receive another letter from the Home Office, which means they are being more liberal now until people are able to find themselves into other sectors. We cannot say for sure what will happen in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, what factors or what criteria the Home Office will use. But if I were you, I will try and make sure I meet the hours so that when you get to the time of getting the indefinite leave to remain, you don't find yourself wanting. Yes, thank you.
So that's a top up. So when I did the first application with the COS they gave me, it was the full time. That's the 37.5. But they did it for 3 years, and then I have to apply again. They gave me a new COS for the second other 2 years left. And then they give me option because I'm doing like a split job. I don't know if you know well about the health sector. I'm doing a half-time band 6 and then a half-time band 7.
Okay.
I wanted to be a permanent band 7 with the half-time. And then the other hours left, I'll do it as a bank shift.
Well, as long as it is still under the same umbrella of a skilled worker, I think once it adds up, it should be fine.
It should be fine, okay. Because I spoke to them, Home Office today, and then they said from their side, they only look at the number of years, but I need to speak to a lawyer about it. Yes. So I was like, okay, this would be a good time to speak about it. Maybe we need that advice.
That's fine. They look at the number of years, but like I said, the rules keep changing. So to be on the safer side of things, make sure you compile the hours as well so that you don't find yourself wanting.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Molash, if you're listening, please. Molash?
Yes. Hello.
Yes,
Good evening, lawyer.
Evening.
Yeah, good evening, uncle. Me pacho bese busa question with my sister. Oba Krumha in 2006. Ordinary British ordinary Belgian passport and a buy.
Okay.
All right, but Obedria 2009. And on a guy who the Banya British passport.
Okay.
So she decided to go on the 10-year route to get her indefinite.
Okay.
And say free hospital time when you sue the Belgian passport for anything. Okay, so when you're an indefinite route that she just wanted to do her naturalization. So in her case, did she enter the UK illegally?
No, she entered here with her Belgian passport. She entered legally.
Okay, but also you say no, she's not using it in any of her. She's not using the Belgian passport anymore.
Regardless, she came here legally. She didn't come through a coach or through a van or through a train or underground train, or she didn't swim across the ocean. She entered here legally with a Belgian passport. If the Home Office have a system of checking entrance and exits, and they should go back to 2006, it is not impossible that they will be able to confirm that she came here legally. That shouldn't be a problem. And I'm sure when she came, she applied for her NI, and all of that is showing that she's...
Yes. She got this blue card. They gave her some blue card, and she took another one.
In her case, she entered legally. not.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lord.
Pleasure. Samuel Kusiokra. Hello, Papa.
Hello, boss. Yeah, that's it. Nyame show. Now, I say my question on what answer. Madam for Oba offer susu by Italy. That's say no Ukraine carta with Italy or person or the room. I say question and answer no what they are mighty no.
Me that's it. Papa Justice. Justice.
Yes. Remember, 2020 February, as a visitor. The worry, November 2020, uni.
Okay.
But they would do. Who say, but May 2020 may be a month account. The same who time I makes me apply because me buy no 5 years in the February when the same who say 5 years. Let me bank when we do 2020. They apply for indefinitely, and I just am paying. So also made November I'm worried.
Okay. So about 2020 February, and yes. you worry November 2020, and so November 2025 will be exactly 5 years from when you married, and that is when you became a family member of the EU National. You became a family member on the date you married, not the date you came to the UK. So technically, you can only apply for your indefinite leave to remain in November this year. Now, if assuming you applied it in November and you applied in November 2020 and you were granted maybe in 2021,
yes,
you need to prove that you've been in the UK from up to when you were granted. So if you have a GP, maybe you were going for a GP, you can use that GP records to prove that you were in the UK. If you had a bank account at that time, you can use that to prove that you were in the UK. If you have other utility bills, gas, water, electricity, phone bills, you can use all of those to prove that you were in the UK legally. You were in the UK until you became a family member, and you carry on from there, you should be fine. If you don't have GP, or if you didn't register GP, you didn't have a bank account, on one occasion, I got a letter from my one of my clients' pastor, and the pastor wrote that, yes, this person has been a member of this church from as long as possible, and he's been very active. He's very dutiful in the church, and he supports, and therefore he's ready to attend. That's the pastor saying he's ready to attend any interview, or even if he has to go to court to testify on behalf of this person, he's ready and willing to go. And the Home Office gave it to him because of what the pastor wrote, even though the person didn't have any documents to show that he was here. The pastor's letter did that on his behalf. So anything that shows that you were here is good enough to add up to the 5 years for you to get your indefinite leave to remain. Yes?
For some time, when I apply free May 2025 and I'm in Kent on November.
Mr. If you don't want them to refuse you, just wait till November. When you apply, you have a stronger basis of applying, getting your indefinite leave. Okay. Because November is when you became a family member. So the 5 years starts from the date you became a family member, and that was in November 2020.
Oh, okay. In November, I'm apply because no, this will make me the bank statement,
No, it starts counting. It starts counting from when you became a family member. That is the date of the marriage. Okay. Thank you. Papa Kofi say. Papa Kofi will say.
To really optimize and turn it on.
Mr. Kofi Osei, I can see you. Please unmute and
hello.
Hello.
Yeah, do you hear me now?
I'm good, thank you.
Do you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Thank you. I had my indefinite leave to stay in 1997.
Hey, so what are you waiting for?
And I went home 2017. I fell sick and overstaged.
Okay.
I had a doctor's report when I applied to re-enter, and I was granted, and my indefinite leave was restored.
Very good.
Now I want to have a citizenship. Listen, do I have to? Wait. I came last year. Do I have to wait for 5 years, or because it has been waived? I can apply.
Okay, thank you. Very good question. So what you did is we call it returning resident.
Yes.
It was a returning resident application because you went for more than 2 years. And once you go for more than 2 years, your indefinite leave elapses. So you have to make another application to come to the UK. And that is what you did. You have to show that you have a very strong connection to the UK, family ties, etc. And that is what they consider to give it to you. Now, to the citizenship, 5 years residential requirement means you should have been in the UK for the last 5 years. You have not been here for the last 5 years. And you should not be out for more than 90 days in the last year immediately preceding the application. If you apply now, it will be refused. Even though it has been waived for you to come back, you were not here in the last 5 years counting backwards. That is from 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24 up to today. So just relax, exercise restraint, and when the time is up, you apply. In any case, if you have some money, if you have 1,630 pounds and you want to go and do cha-cha with it, you can try and see if they will give it to you. But I doubt if it will work. So please, I would say just take it easy, and when the time is up, you can write. You can do that.
There's no compassion at all, because the person first.
Yes, that is what I'm.
And came with a doctor's report, and then you consider that, and then you let the person end. Does it not follow? Does it not continue with the previous step?
If we look at the strict meaning of 5 years continuous residence, the question is, were you here 5 years continuously before immediately preceding the application? No. But like I said, if one wants to use that like, to plead compassionate, look, I didn't go to stay for pleasure. I went I stayed there because of medical reasons. And therefore, if they can use their discretion to waive it, it's purely discretionary, very, very purely discretionary. They may say yes, they may say no, depending on the content of the medical report. But you should go with the mindset that it is a 50-50 deal. It can go either way. So that's it. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome, my brother. I wish you all the best anyway, if you wish to.
Thank you.
Miss, is it Bessie? B-E-S-I. Bessie. Is it Bessie?
Please, before Bessie comes, Pacho will call no so nasa lawyer and friend nasa wa be o mic na Pacho do no my a disrupted lawyer kakra team sewa try na mute ho lawyer Pacho to aso.
That's it. Bessie. Pacho Utera, unmute yourself and thank you.
I was trying to figure it out, sorry. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, thank you, lawyer. I came here on a dependent visa, right?
Yes.
And then I got off, so I was on it for like a year. And then I got off it. I'm in uni now. So basically I'm out of that arrangement. No? But you see, I'm a co-school. Maybe school, my visa near till 2027. For instance, me Shiobi, na say me or British, na me worry no. How do I go about it? Because I know say as student, you can't really move from your visa to a different one until completion of your program.
Okay, thank you.
That's the knowledge I have. I don't know if that's what holds.
Yes, the knowledge you have is quite informative, but it's not accurate in totality. Now, if you're a student, you cannot move to the work route. You can't move from student to tier 2. You can't move from student to other routes, but nothing stops a student from getting married. Nothing stops a student from exercising their human rights. Article 12 of the Human Rights Act. Marriage is your human right. Nobody can tell you you're a student and therefore there is no sweetness in your body and therefore you shouldn't get married. You understand?
Yes,
and
I do.
So we're a student. Now what shall we be? Now person worry no. You're the kind. I'm worry. Don't switch. Wait me switch you from the student rule to the partner route. Yeah, we're more 2.5 years. We are another 2.5 years. Then you're indefinite. Then you're British citizenship. To switch from student to work, no.
Okay.
Students to family, yes, you can.
So do I need to go to Ghana in that instance?
No, if you need, assuming you meet somebody who you are in love with, genuine relationship, you can travel to Ghana, he can travel to Ghana. There's something we call the Ghanaian customary marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And that is acceptable under the rules of the UK. The case, we have different case laws. The case of CB Brazil, it says lex loci celebrationis. It's a Latin word. It says, if the marriage is acceptable in the country where it took place as legal, then it is also acceptable in the UK as a valid and a legal marriage. Lex loci celebrationis. So you don't have to go to Ghana. The families can do it on your behalf. You have to give them your authority. They do it on your behalf of the man, behalf of yourself, with your consent. They will do the registration, the Ghanaian customary marriage registration certificate. Get a statutory declaration, get Ministry of Foreign Affairs letter, get a letter from Ministry of Judicial Services. They can send the certificates and the pictures of the ceremony to you. You can use that here in the UK to file for your application. The case of Macab and Macab, the case of N.A. Ghana, the case of Yaote and Kwe, all these cases show that a marriage in Ghana under the Ghanaian customary law is a valid marriage in the UK here as well. You don't have to go to Ghana. Yeah?
All right, thank you. So the previous marriage wouldn't be a hindrance either, like wouldn't be a problem, because remember, Name were dependent, so.
Yes, so you have to be divorced before you can marry.
I may jai or not that.
And yeah,
that shouldn't be a problem. All right, sure. All right, thank you so much. God bless.
Pleasure. Ni NII. Ni ufano yejeng. Okay. If you make ni bejeng oya Osafo. Mr. Osafo, wo ho ami enkwe.
Lawyer.
Papa.
Pacha to me nkade.
Iti wonka.
Wele enda wase. Checha wode mai.
Sideni
na me junior brother Baha say the master's degree that was in 2022 and OU 2024. And along the line, no, not in the partner by and a partner in nurse until no need more care home, no switch here. But partner no switch here at the time almost the law be by say 10th March, we depend on into so. They say the partner and switch here no only into the partner and so as the dependent. Until eventually me catch and say only school no apply for graduate routine no. And ya me had more school no apply. Along the line so then number by. Until on the number na mo apply for graduate way besa no. And ya me had almost sakai. Now we bese me want say on the new case aba say ono beye utumi switch to skilled visa obetumi ne mba no atoso ana na sisi ne mba no mo ha say no so move here 2 years now what are their options to stay here?
Okay, thank you. And omo mama e dey so no omo mama no wono
ne ma no ye current or no skilled visa.
All right. So emofra wo mu a the Home Office is very compassionate when children are involved. Very, 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 very. Because of the children's best interest, because of safeguarding, because of the children's best interest, welfare, well-being, upbringing, the Home Office is very, very compassionate and considerate when there are children involved. On the 11th of March 2024, that's when the rules changed. I say, if you are on a certain code, SOC 2020 6135, SOC 2020 6136, SOC 2010 6145, SOC 2010 6146. If you are on any of these codes, health and care workers, you cannot not have a dependent. However, we have seen occasions where, because there were children involved, even though the rule says you cannot, the Home Office still went ahead and granted the children and their family because of the children. So thankfully, there are children involved in this case. And because of the compassion and the discretion the Home Office exercises because they are children, I would say they should carry on based on their mom's route. After the 2 years as a graduate, there is an application that he can also make based on his children. It is going to be outside of the rule. Because the children are not British, they are not 7 years in the UK, and they don't have indefinite, they are not regarded as relevant children under the definition of the rules. But they are children, and because their father has contact with them and is involved in their life, their well-being, welfare, and upbringing, an application can be made under the human rights outside the rules, and I am very certain the Home Office will consider that very favorably. Yes?
Oh, okay. Yo, and a daughter, lawyer me that say.
Yeah, Nancy, Papa. MOP. I have 5 more minutes. I have 5 more minutes, so I take MOP, T, and Olivia. Yes, please. Okay. All right.
Good evening. Media very, very fast. So in a situation where, let's say this year I'm supposed to get my indefinite leave to remain, but in the past 5 years, I've been going home most of the time. I think I've been away for close to probably 90 days in each year leading to this year, mainly because my family were Ghana. Yes. So, some may apply. Is that going to be a problem, or?
When it comes to indefinite leave to remain, the rules are not that strict. When it comes to British citizenship, that is where they apply.
Oh,
so you are fine with the indefinite leave application. You should not have any problems.
Okay. Thank you. Just a quick question. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you. My pleasure. T. Good
evening.
All right,
sorry, my friend with you. Good evening. Sane ma be a minto koni. Inchmon ma be shimito ma be akeshike. Last time back my na boy office Jacob. No fa no baluni manima wanabu.
O fine. Ma bo office number neutral. Koni walk neutral ni over yes, I'm fair sana you are ni no 0208 0165 384 0208 0165 384. I'll go over it again. 0208 0165 384. Wise Smart Solicitors. We're at Dalston Junction behind the McDonald's. Wise Smart Solicitors. We are very close to the Dalston Market behind the McDonald's. We're walk neutral ni Abu Cabo. Oh no.
You are doing.
Yo, Auntie Olivia.
Oh, sorry, you called me.
T. I'm sorry, T. Yes, go on, please.
Okay, good evening. Thank you. But my sister-in-law, about 2022, and my brother Kowari not in by. So I believe the visa she had, it was just 6 months, but I believe it was 2.5 years now.
Yes.
We say no. We are in 2025 now, where I don't think that they did the application into e-visa now.
they gave her up to August this year. And I'm telling them, said they have to do an application, but almost say now they've changed something to automatic, you know. And I'm saying, no, I don't think so, because e-visa, and they gave her up to August of this year. That means that they haven't done any
Exactly.
If there's any way, I make me advise and push them to do it.
Yes, they have to. The e-visa is totally different from their leave to be in the UK. The e-visa only comes to replace the physical card, the document.
Right.
But they still have to apply for the 2.5 years to make it a total of 5 years from the day she arrived before she can go for her indefinite. If she waits and she doesn't do it and her leave expires, she will have to start all over again.
Okay.
Might not be that fortunate. If there is no child involved, they will ask her to go back home to apply before she comes back. So she should watch it and make sure she applies before it expires in August, please.
In August. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Auntie Olivia.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir. Sorry, Mpacho, me cousin Bakubi or worry British citizen, and Odeba, how many 2.5. Now, by Anchena, on say, let me say December, January, no, 1 year. Na saware no gu a aware no almost egu na mebisa se egu a na bia ne 2.5 no du no pese ye renew na ebe affect na na
wane nipa ne oba omo oba na
empatro wawo omo oba
enti nipa ne British citizen
empatro
I said Nibani are British, not say aware ni gumpo, menkasa wareni but a gumpo because Nibani are British nente, or bet me switch from parent, or bet me switch from partner to parent. Yes, it is possible.
Okay, sir. But my second question, I don't know if I'm permitted to ask.
Just brief.
Okay. Sir, if this answer me say, maybe I will buy or indefinite leave to remain, but on Yanji pass only passport, no. Would it affect her, even though she's not traveling now?
No, just have to. As for the e-visa, once you have the biometric permit or card, do the e-visa. If the person is eligible for citizenship later, they can always apply. But for the e-visa, if you have a card, you have a biometric permit, it's advisable that you do it before the 31st of March 2025.
Card, no. Indefinite leave to remain.
Yes, and see, money indefinite, no, some money card,
money card, reference number.
Yes, and then a link being so decision is on click that link, then create the e-visa for the child. But I think she would need a valid passport. Valid passport. Yes, into on your passport, and my for non find your money. Right. What will from her?
No,
I'm design.
Benya for next month.
Nima means to dear no nukra.
I'm also indefinite.
And why don't you register the child as a British citizen?
Yes, no, do it.
All right, that's fine. Thank you.
So since they'll be applying it, I won't forget e-visa.
You don't pay
citizenship straight away.
You don't pay anything for the e-visa. You don't lose anything by doing the e-visa. They should just do it to be in a safer position.
Okay, sir.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Okay,
it doesn't. It costs zero. It costs zero. So just do it. All right, Auntie Felicity.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Papa, me pacho, good evening.
Good evening, Mommy. It's saying.
Nyame adumo. Pacho so hoye.
Dominant also.
There are the me pacho. Me first question is yasem wo lawyer nsem ye betumi agye free lawyer no ho ama lawyer for frana. And I feel
Hey, possible say me hompo na me nye ho adwuma yi a obetumi agi e dey come out before the same way a your case and you the be share lawyer nsa na lawyer ne nye ne yi a it is your case. You have control over which direction you move your case. So it doesn't matter whether it is with me, it is with somebody, you have the freedom to move around if you wish to.
Oh, okay. Me pacho me de me ma enya me man kasa, but mi kunu me fa say ko form say mi kunu ma. Ene do mo bae na passport oba ko birth set no ho aba asem.
Yes.
Ena mienu de amomo. Asem ne yapem so ama sesi akodru court. E court no acha ye ntie na court ho etumi chesa. And I say
court to me check papa. A bit midi 1 year, a bit midi 1.5 years. Recently, court in my said there was a shortage of judges because the cases were too many, especially because of these small boats and asylum cases were becoming so many, and there was not enough judges to look at these cases. And there's a huge backlog. Afena, they've recruited more judges, and yes, court cases at me a year or even over that, more than that. It's possible. Me will be more than 1 year. Yes, I have some case which is way over a year, and we are still dragging on. So it's possible.
Wow. You bet me my lawyer na san yakoso. Hansa akola ne peso okowini. Say otifia wontumi nkowini no because of documents system.
Yeah. Any lawyer in international, sometimes there's a letter you can do to take to the university or to appeal to the authorities as to why the situation is the way it is. And sometimes they are very considerate. I'll give you an example. My client be not or University of Greenwich. On your similar situation, problem, school. So we wrote to the Home Office. The Home Office responded, and the intro letter, this Home Office response, and uni gave the lady some time to get the documents. Finally, the documents came from the Home Office, and she's continuing her study. So it depends. It all depends on the situation. Yes.
Yeah, Martin.
Auntie Mary Jewa, and then the last one will be Chrissy, and that'll be Auntie Mary. Mama May. Okay, Mama May Nihonti Yemfa. Well, we have to continue next week because I gotta run. Mama May,
hello.
Why are dear pa?
Hello.
Time no pa.
Yeah.
Oh. Hello.
So lawyer, if you can permit our people, 2 people.
Yo. Next week, I'm here to keep your questions. Mama, why?
Me ba UK last year, and I have an indefinite leave to remain. That is private life visa.
Okay.
Gained on humanitarian grounds because of my daughter's ill health. But I have 2 boys in Ghana, and I want to bring them over because it's been getting to 2 years that I've not seen them, and I'm also a very worried mom. Because of this, we spoke to the lawyers in Scotland, and they said there's no provision to bring the boys over on that visa.
How old are they?
Private life visa, 6 and 4 years.
And you have indefinite leave to remain?
Yeah, private life visa.
Well, indefinite leave to remain is indefinite leave to remain. When you go to paragraph 297 of the immigration rules, it says, if you're applying for a children to come and you are in the UK and you can prove that you have sole responsibility. In other words, the children's other parent is not in the UK, but maybe outside the UK, but you are the only person who you have sole responsibility. You decide their education, their feeding, their clothing, their medical needs. You make the decision, the major decisions. You can apply for the children to join you, and they'll give them indefinite leave to enter, not 2.5 years. So based on my understanding of paragraph 297 of the immigration rules, yes, if you meet all the other requirements, you can apply for your children to join you here in the UK. Indefinite is indefinite. If you go to 297, it says if you are settled. It doesn't say if you are settled through private life or settled through humanitarian grounds. Settled is settled, and that is what it says.
Do you have a limited number of children to come?
Yeah, I have 2 children.
No, there is no limit on the number of children to come, but there are conditions you have to meet. One, your accommodation. 1 room is for 2 people, 2 rooms for 3 people, 3 rooms for 5 people, 4 rooms is for 7.5 people, and 5 rooms, 2 to each room. Now, you have to know the number of rooms you have. You must have. That is 1. 2, you have to look at the maintenance requirements. How much do you earn? How much do you spend in rent, council tax, maintenance? You have to do all those calculations. And once you meet those requirements, not financial, maintenance. Financial is 29,000. Maintenance is we use the income support level under the case of Uvovo. If you do that calculation and you meet it, your children should be able to join you here in the UK. Are they with your father?
No, I'm here with the father, but the children are with my parents. They are the only ones in Ghana.
And your father, what leave has he got?
He also has the same thing on a 10-year round.
Bring the keys to join you here, please. You can do that.
Okay, please, can I call you tomorrow, because it's quite complicated, as they tell me that there's no provision to bring them.
Yeah, all right. 0208.
Okay.
0165.
All right.
384.
Okay.
0208 0165 384.
84. Okay.
Before we speak tomorrow, please go online and enter paragraph 297 of the immigration rules. And just read that before we talk tomorrow, and I'll tell you why. You are welcome. All right. Papa Kwesi, I think I promised you be the last person. The rest, please bear with me. Next week, God willing, I will be here. Keep your questions. I will respond to your questions. Thank you, sir. Papa Kwesi.
Yeah, lawyer. Good evening, lawyer.
Good evening, as you're saying.
Yeah. So, my case is a bit simple. I came here 2020 on a student visa.
Okay.
After the visa, I got married, but the marriage it was under the EU, so it took 2 years. I kept applying with certificate of application because the visa kept extending. Finally, the EU came out of the system August last year.
The UK came out of the EU. That's what you mean, right?
No, the EU that I was using to apply as a settlement. I got into a marriage situation. Yeah, so. Finally, the EU got. I don't know if you were aware. You should be aware. I know you are on top of the issue. The EU was out of the system, so unknowingly, I was rendered illegal because I didn't know they were changing the laws. Fast forward, at the time, I was fortunate enough. I had a child, so I applied as a family man visa. Yeah, so I got a visa, but because I wasn't on top of the issues, I was rendered illegal because the EU was out and I didn't know. So I went to use my child and I was told the EU was out of the system. So I needed to apply as somebody who didn't have a status. I was given a 10 years. God being so good, because I've been in the system, been working, I got a new job. I'm earning about 29,000 now. My child is a British citizen. Yes. The mom is indefinite. I'm on a 10-year route. I want to switch to 5 years. I got a 10 years last year, May. I want to switch to 5 years. I just got a job. I have my job contract. I have not received my first pay yet. I want to know the process. If it's possible to switch 5 years, and when am I supposed to do that? And also, I'm working in the health and care sector. I'm a care manager. I want to know, first of all, what I need to do, and secondly, if I'm to apply, would I be exempted from paying the IHS, because already I've paid for the 5 years. I know when I started 5 years, it doesn't count anymore. I'll start fresh. But I want to know how to get on the 5 years and whether it's possible to be exempted from the IHS, as it's very exorbitant.
Well, yes, the IHS, when you do the application form, it doesn't give you any space to say whether you are working with the NHS or not. So you pay, and then later, through your line manager, you can get a refund from the Home Office for the IHS.
Actually, I mean the care sector, not NHS, care sector, yeah.
Yes, the care sector, you can get it. So yes, you pay first, and then you ask for a refund from the government, the Home Office. They will refund that money to you.
Okay, I just want to know whether they will refund it, yeah.
Yes, to the best of my knowledge, I know clients who have applied and they refunded that money to them. That's that. And so, yes, you can switch from the 10 years to the 5 years. You have to meet the maintenance requirement. You have to meet the relationship requirement. You have to be involved in your child's life, taking the child to school, taking the child to GP. You get a letter from the school or the GP. You have to, of course, do the English language test level A2. And with that, tenancy agreement, 6 months pay slip, 6 months bank statement, letter from your employer, letter from the child's mother, child's birth certificate, child's British passport. You should be able to apply and you will be switched from the 10 years to the 5 years. After that, another 2.5 years, and then you get your indefinite leave to remain. So the question is it possible? The answer is 100% possible.
Yeah. I know it's possible. I just want to know. I have all of that. That was how I got even though I was rendered illegal because I've overstayed, I was able to get the family visa as a parent of a British citizen. But what I mean to say is, right now, I just switched jobs. I've been living with the woman for over a year now.
If she's working, if she's working and you can meet the £29,000, then you don't have to worry about your job at all. But if she's not working, or she's working but can't meet the £29,000, then you have to work for 6 months to prop up her employment, and you meet the threshold of £29,000, then you will be able to switch. If you are applying as a partner, if you are applying as a parent, you don't have to meet the £29,000. You only have to show the maintenance threshold, and that we use the income support level. However, if you are living in the same address with the child and their mother, then you cannot apply on the parent route. You have to apply on the partner route. You can only apply on parent if the situation was that you are not living in the same address with them. I hope it's clear. Hello? Oh, Papa, sorry.
Yeah, hello. Papa.
Yes, who is Mr. Coordinator?
Lawyer, it was a question, but I think he's fine. He's fine with the answer that you gave.
Right, thank you. So I'm going to give one more, Papa, sorry, and then that'll be it. Mr. Coordinator, as soon as I finish with him, you can take over, please. Thank you so much.
All right, lawyer.
Erica, Mami Fosia, Auntie Felicity, iPhone, Olivia, please save your questions. Next week, I'll be more than happy to respond to your questions. Papa, sorry, please kick on.
Lawyer, you didn't know Papa.
Yeah,
maybe me say last week in Kwana me say what's what the mrafu for aba say obi amfa visa me wura na offer kwan okofa ba bi no be wura mu a na wa man a year otimi nya British pass eno no me ntimi say eno kware ana
eno kware eno na me di share asempo eno na me di share bibia sese ufa ebia kwan enye kwan paso uko Holland uko France na ufa coach na usie hu di hu share bus bi mu na ubaye uni entry sankrofon home office for say we application from the 10th of February 2025 wono ukra indefinite employer British citizenship there enya dia omode ebema because uni entry uni kwan ntimi kire kwan ufa so edi baye enti
me pato ono no me manu bi invite me manu invitation into
the visa ne buy
the visa ne buy
oh
omo 6 months visa ne be wurem
omo the visa buy here omo ni how at least omo entry omo buy legally and they overstayed but omo ni just they appeared like they just appeared on the yes omono and omoka said you have no entry, you entered illegally. Omono say they won't get British citizenship. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Coordinator, thank you so much.
Lawyer, please can you give us your number again?
Okay. Thank you. The office number is 0208 0165 384. 0208 0165 384. My mobile number is 079 31 411 042. 079 31 411 042. But preferably, if you can call the office number during office hours, I have a lot of hands who can always take the calls and, of course, pass it on to me or book consultation, telephone or otherwise.
Do you deal with rent issues as well? Like
No,
if you
I
are
don't.
getting a house and you need a solicitor and stuff.
No, I don't do
them?
that.
Okay.
I don't do that, but I have other colleagues who are lawyers who do that, so I can recommend you, but I don't.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good night. I'm grateful. God willing.
All right, lawyer, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
You promised us 1 hour, but you've done more than that. But
yes,
I just need 30 seconds because if I look at the chat, someone's message, how he boldly typed it. Yeah, can't want some kakra. Timmy here, just 30 seconds, just a brief advice for him.
I'm applying for naturalization, but the section that I have to put my wife's naturalization case, we have displaced it and we cannot find it. Please, what can I do? Naturalization certificate. Please, this is what you do. Apply for a replacement naturalization certificate. Replacement naturalization certificate. Now, I am applying for naturalization, but at the section that I have to put my wife's naturalization certificate. Or your wife's naturalization. So you are not doing it. You don't know your wife's naturalization certificate. You can apply for replacement of naturalization certificate for your wife. When that comes, you will get her naturalization certificate number on it. I moved from Ireland to UK with my British wife. And at the time, I had EU residence card. When we came to the UK, there was no stamp in my passport. And with this new changes, do I have a chance for my application be accepted? Any advice will be really appreciated. Thanks so much. Yes, if you came with your wife, there is the case of. There's this case I've forgotten, where people who are British citizens went to settle in another EU country and came back with their family members. There is a case law, I'll get it next week. In such a case, you have entry because there is evidence that you were there with your wife and then you entered back to the UK with your wife. I will get a case. It's just escaped me. I'll get it and I'll give it to you. So you don't have a problem. I think you should be fine.
So next week, Nana, we will start with yours. Lawyer,
thank you.
Case. Lawyer, thank you very much. And we hope
pleasure.
Next week.
Thank you.
Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
All right. For that lawyer wisdom, I say, as all the time, Oba show so now Oba boy with all the UK legal matters. So at this point, producer, I told you to me my short break. Then from there, we move to the Taptap Send focus session.
Taptap Send. Oh, it was my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. With oneness. Baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. Taptap Send got me covered. If you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through Taptap Send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download Taptap Send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download Taptap Send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, that's how the world is chilling. Like my view, no, hey, you crazy.
Download Taptap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Taptap Send, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Welcome back. All right, A-class. It's time for Taptap Send focus session. At this time, if you have any question with regards to your Taptap Send app, this is the time for you to ask. A-class.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.